You know who we are. We're Victoria's number one show. It's your show. It's the Vlhs Hockey Show. Yes, hello, welcome back to the Vlhs Hockey Show. G'day Nick Hooks again for another episode of this wonderful program. That's why we are Victoria's number one hockey program. And for your news, reviews and stats and information, the only place to come to is right here on this very program. So much to talk about yet again. Another week of some interesting results, interesting scores. And we're sort of coming to the second, third now of the season. And it's some really interesting talking points coming up tonight. Talking about the COVID situation a little bit again, and I got a question here actually. It was given to me not too long ago actually, and I sort of just let it go, and I sort of haven't really put it on the program yet. So, and the question is, what is HV going to do about players? What is HV going to do about getting more players? After 6 match double ups, clubs will run out of players. Plus, at $45 a game on average, the cost will blow out to $90 a game. So who will play hockey at $90 a game? Well, the answer for me is nobody. We know our sport's expensive, and we all understand that. And as I was saying earlier in the other episodes, cost of living pressures, all that kind of stuff, having families, we know fuel's expensive. We know that other things are expensive along the way. You know, like I was saying, some clubs were paying $500 a season. Some clubs are only paying $10 a game and then paying your registration fee on the side. So for me, obviously the COVID situation in Victoria is still active. Some other states, like say Queensland or Northern Territory or whatever, they're sort of, or South Australia for example, as I had spoken to someone this morning about their COVID situation is pretty much gone, so to speak. So there is a lot of issues still about this, and we sort of don't want this to clog up our sport. You know, it's been going for 2 years. We want it to go. We're obviously living our own lives, etc., etc. So that's sort of where the question was with that. So nobody's going to play $90 a game because nobody will play. And then Hockey Victoria, on the other hand, have got an issue with players. Now, I'm telling you, this year, the numbers are going to be down. And I said that in the early episodes. They will deny that. I'm telling you, from what I've heard and what I've spoken to people, the numbers will be down 100%. Whether if you're looking at a seniors perspective, or you're looking at a juniors perspective, or hook and hockey perspective, whatever. I would say from a hook into hockey perspective, I would say it is up. But from a whole agenda over men's, women's, juniors, everything, it'll be down. It'll be down significantly. Less money for Hockey Victoria. Now, I don't know if anybody knows this, that Hockey Victoria actually nearly went bankrupt during the pandemic. Just imagine that, right? You got a governing body that went bankrupt. What does that do for our sport? Big problems. Big problems that does for our sport. And as I said, this program is to talk about these kind of issues as well. And we sort of need to open the floodgates up on this kind of stuff. It's very important. People need to understand and also be educated, but also within reason, talking about open-handedly about things like this. I would hate to think that a governing body would go bankrupt. That would send shockwaves through our sport, and not a good thing. You know, like for us in the media, we sort of, for hockey, doesn't really get talked about. Obviously, football takes over, and which is sort of is a silver lining for us in terms of that. So, which is good. So, but I would hate to think that that something would happen. Now, in terms of management of the sport itself, I really don't have much to say on that. The only thing is that I would like to see new people come in and sort of steer the sport in a new direction. I think things like Hockey One, that kind of stuff, I'm not for it. I don't like that. I'm just, when we had state league hockey, when you played state league one, you could play for Vikings and go play for Australia. Now we got these extra steps. Now we got these extra loops, so to speak. Could jump through more hoops, so to speak. Sorry. So now you're playing for Premier League, then you can go play for Hockey One, and then you get to go play for whatever it is, and you sort of, there's more steps now, and I don't understand why. We got hockey academies now, which is great. I think that's a great thing. Good development of juniors and all that kind of stuff. As I've said stuff on Twitter about juniors, how if a club doesn't have juniors, it can expect to fail 100%. And a lot of people have agreed with me with that. Very, very true. I would hate to think that clubs like, say, for example, Collegians, Monash Uni, who else would be in that? Melbourne Uni, all those uni clubs, they sort of don't have juniors. They sort of just rely on sort of your 18 plus sort of group to come in and sort of, to be honest, I would like to see those clubs have juniors. I don't know what's holding them back in terms of going to play for, to have juniors in their clubs. Look at like Collegians, they've been around for, God, I don't know, 100 years? And then obviously they're still going, so obviously they must be doing something right. So, but there will be a time that they'll be like, okay, we need to have juniors. And it'll happen. And 100% it'll happen. Echo, for example, didn't have juniors for so long. Look at them now, they've got juniors now. So there's that transitioning effect happening over a time period. So, it will happen. And the other thing I sort of want to quickly talk about before we get to the results is about women's hockey. Now, I've had numerous messages, I've had numerous emails about women's hockey. Now, for people who have just jumped onto the Vlhs Hockey Show or just listening to the podcast, thank you very much for listening. And I love you for listening to the program and opening your eyes up on other things. Yes, we don't have women's hockey. Yes, that is true. Right, and I just want to put pretty much a thing out here about this. The reason why we don't have this is because nobody wants to put their hand up and help. And that is the exact answer. There's nothing more and there's nothing less. That's exactly the answer. If you look back at our past posts over the last 4 years, we put a hand up and said, hey, come join Vlhs Hockey Show to help develop women's hockey. Has anyone done and helped that? No. No is the answer, because that's why we don't have women's hockey. So if you want women's hockey, please come across to us. Send us a message, send us an email, so put your hand up and say, I would love to help develop women's hockey for Vlhs Hockey Show. And we'd love you to come on the program and help develop women's hockey. If you want to do it, put your hand up. Help. Because I would love to make women's Vlhs hockey even better than what it is. Or the directors would love to help to make Vlhs women's hockey amazing and better and great and all those wonderful things. This is where we have great people in our sport who do great things. And those great people come forward and they put their hand up and they say, yes, let's do this. Let's do this. Let's get it happening. Come on, yeah. And this is why Vlhs Hockey Show started. This is why it started back in 2017. And we're now its 5th year. Its 5-year implemented plan has already been started. Everything bar Vlhs live stream has been completed. Everything has been done as part of the 5-year plan, which was implemented last year during the pandemic, if you read on the website. If you want women's hockey, put your hand up, send us an email, send us a message, tell us you want it, and we will put out another message to say, let's get this going. Because we can do it. We want people to come across. We need people to help for this important scenario. Let's get to the results now from over the weekend. And Casey defeated MPHC 2-1 at home. Good on them. I'm telling you, they're going to win the flag this year. They're looking too strong out there. Werribee beat Pegs 1-0. Yarra Valley and Monash Uni drew. Northwest Lightning defeated Powerhouse 5-0. And as I was saying, one of those teams is going to get a win this year, and Northwest, again, nice win for them. Well done. Zabs beat Knox 5-0. Let's get to Vic League 2. And Craigieburn Falcons defeated Echo 5-4. Melbourne Seeks defeated Collegians 10-3. 10-3. And if you look at the past episode, I'll talk you about in the Vic League Hockey Show Stats Center. I'll tell you all about what the scores would have been on there. And I can guarantee you, from remembering off the top of my head, I believe that score was very, very close to the 10-3 from the Stats Center. West Vic lost to Melbourne High 2-0. St Bede's defeated Melbourne Razorbacks 2-1. And in Vic League 3, Frankston defeated Croydon 8-3. GDW beat Latrobe 4-1. And RMIT beat Melton 5-3. And if we have a look at the ladder now, Casey sitting on top, 7 from 7, 29 points, 30 goals difference, looking very nicely. MPHC second, Pegs third, and Xavier fourth. They all look strong at the moment for finals. Yarra Valley fifth, Northwest sixth, Monash Uni seventh, Werribee eighth, Knox second last, and Powerhouse at the bottom, looking absolutely certain for relegation. Vic League 2, Melbourne 6 sitting on top with 16 points. Melbourne High School on 15, looking very good at the moment. They'll be wanting to get to Vic League 1. As I said, I was correct about last episode. MHS are the longest serving Vic League 2 team ever. So they would want to be getting out of Vic League 2 pretty soon. Craigieburn sitting nicely in third place. St Bede's in fourth. Echo dropping down to fifth now on 11 points. A couple of interesting results for them over the last few weeks. They'd sort of want to be getting back into the four there. West Vic 6th, Latrobe 7th, Collegian sitting on 3 points, and Melbourne Razorbacks at the bottom looking certain for Vic League 3. Speaking of Vic League 3, get to Vic League 3, and Frankston on top, looking absolutely stunning on top. 16 points. RMIT second on 15 points. GDW third. Then Melton, Croydon, Latrobe Valley, and Bayside at the bottom. If we have a look at the projected points for each of these grades, Casey looking projected to get 41 points over the season with a goal difference of 60. MPHC 39 and 21, Pegs 31 and 19, and Zabs 31 and 40. Melbourne Seats projected points of 37 and a goal difference of 53. Melbourne High 31 and 18, Craigieburn 28 and 8, and St Bede's 40 and 47. And in Vic League 3, Frankston looking projected points of 39 with 56 goals difference. RMIT 37 and 70. And GDW 20 and negative 22. And Melton on 21 and 3. And let's get to the goal scorers. Brian Young first on 13 goals at 1.9. Deacon Evans sitting second on 5 goals and 1. And Liam Bryan sitting third, 5 goals, 1 goals per game. In Vic League 2, DJ sitting first and 11 goals and 1.6 goals a game. Harjang Singh 10 goals and 2 goals a game. And Michael Birch and Melbourne High 7 goals and 1.2 goals a game. Vic League 3, Andy Millsy again, 13 goals and 2.2 goals a game, looking pretty good there, Millsy. Riley Lawrence from Melton, 10 goals, 1.7 goals a game. Lachlan Valance from Melton, 8 goals and 1.6. And Thomas Pollock in fourth, 7 goals, 1.4 goals a game. And if you have a look at the goal scoring at the moment, it's usually above 1.2, sort of elite status there. So look, got a lot of guys scoring goals Vic League 2 and 3 looking projected to have a lot more goals this year than previous years, which is great. And if we had a look at previous results, we can sort of see that if we sent to look at Vic League 2, in 2014 we had average goals of 4.26, average margin was a bit goals. So last year we had average goals of 5.34, but mind you, we only had 9 rounds. So if we had a full season, the number would have dropped quite a bit. If you look at 2018 and 2019, you have 5.5 and 5.1. So the margin sort of dropped. So the competition sort of has closed, which is what's telling us the data. So, which is good. We want close competition during our games, which is nice. So we don't want blowouts, and we don't want top and bottom to be miles apart. We don't want that. We want closing the gap, so to speak. We want clubs to be, competitive wherever you are. If you're last or first or in the middle, wherever you are, we sort of want that over time, and that's what the data reflects. So, and if you had a look at best performance by season, the best performance by season in Vic League 2 is Werribee in 2018 when they won the flag. So goal difference to 61 and 46 points. And they obviously look good there. So also Frankston's 2014 season at 5.92. So, and they became runners up. So which was good for them. So obviously went to Vic League 1 and came back down. So and if you went to Vic League 3, also in the same thing as St Bernard's 2015, 8.11 score, and became runners up. Now St Bernard's are probably one of those teams, obviously, who aren't in Vic League. We talked about in the very first episode. I think we've had about 6 or 7 teams that come across or come in and out of Vic League since it started. So St Bernard's, if I had to look in the top 10, they're in there 4 times. So let me just have a look there here. 1, 2, two times. Sorry, I'm looking at something else. I do apologise there. And those 2 times of 8.11 and 7.19, both runners up. So interesting scores actually there too. So, and if we sort of go to the expected goals for and against, we can sort of see, now this has actually been updated by our wonderful stats man. So if we look at the good defence, so you got, it seems like if you look at Vic League 1 for example, Morning's Peninsula got very good defence, and Casey's obviously a good attack and good defence, so that's why they're first. Then you look at Powerhouse down the other end, obviously let a lot of goals through, so they have bad defence. Northwest, Werribee, Yarra Valley, Monash, you're sort of in that sort of 1.5 sort of area. Then you got Old Zavs and Pegs, and they're sort of similar. So, and if you went down to Vic League 2, you can sort of see the same thing. Melbourne High School, good defence. Expected goals for per game is about 1, just over 1, sorry. Collegians, Mel Razorbacks and Latrobe Uni, not very good. So bad defence, which is quite interesting. Quite interesting about that. Thinking about that actually. So then Craigieburn, Echo, St Bede's. Craigieburn, Echo and West Vic all together, sort of in a little patch together, and St Bede sort of by themselves. Vic League 3, Latrobe Valley and Bayside, just obviously bad defence, not very good. That's the way they are. Croydon, GDW, sort of in the same spot. Melton, and then RMI team Frankston are just miles ahead of everybody else. And even in the power rankings, you can see, like you look at the rolling averages of the power rankings of each grade. Casey, obviously well ahead, and then the rest of them are sort of in the same sort of area between 2 and -2. Casey obviously right like far ahead. So Vic League 2 power rankings, that Echo obviously the probably the best team in the terms of the power rankings. Melbourne High School second. Latrobe Uni third. I think that's correct. No, sorry, Melbourne 6. I do apologise. Vic League 3 power rankings, and look, if we have look at the Vic League 3 power rankings, And Melton were strong at the start, and they've dropped right away. There. So RMIT, the strongest in the power rankings at the moment, looking very good. Then give out 2.2, so nice for them. So if you look at someone like Latrobe Valley, I would apologise again. They were 0 and then into -4, and they're sort of crawling their way back up. So you might see them around -1, I'd say, by the end of the season. And finally, in the who's hot and who's not. Now, before I get to that, I would love to bring back red cards again. Now, Hockey Victoria told us to take it away. Now, I don't understand why they want us to take it away. Obviously, negative impacting of players. Now, to be honest, I just like some things don't need to be changed. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Leave things the way they are. Seriously, no point trying to reinvent the wheel in this sport. The amount of change we've had in the last 5 or 6 years about short corner rules, goalkeepers, defence, cards. Just leave the sport as it is. Seriously, don't change it. Just don't change it. I don't understand why we change the sport all the time to impact things like, short corner batteries and all this other stuff. There's all these other changes all the time. And also, before I just get to this hot and not thing, another thing for everyone at home, please read your rule book. Don't argue with umpires. The amount of times I've argued with umpires over the years nearly get me sent off from the game. Obviously, I want to argue a point. Hello to Trevor Jones, because I argued with him a few times in back up in 2017, playing against CV Blazers it was, and I decked it a little. I think it might have been 12-year-old. I literally took him out of the game. Trevor Jones said straight away stroke, and I said what for? I said I got the player and the ball, and he goes no, get in the goals. And I stood there with him for 5 minutes arguing with him, and he nearly gave me a red card. Dead set, no dead of a lie. It's a true story. Who's hot and who's not? RMIT 100%. Who's hot and who's not? Melbourne High School, Casey, Frankston, Melbourne 6, MPHC, St Bede's, and you go right down to the bottom. Latrobe Valley, Powerhouse Knox, Collegians, Melbourne Razorbacks, Bayside, Croydon, who are in 20th. Let's get to the next round of hockey. The next round coming up, which is round 8. Very, very, very exciting times. Round 8 fixtures. Casey taking on Zavs. Casey looking good again. 2.09. Zavs 1.55. Monash Uni 2.34. Knox 0.3. So that's 0.3. So looking for a 2-0 win. MPHC going to beat Werribee 3.5 to 0. Well, 3.6, so 3-0. Northwest going to come undone against Pegs 1-0. Powerhouse to lose to Yarra Valley 3-1. Vic League 2, Collegians to lose to Latrobe Valley 2-1. Melbourne Razorbacks to lose to Echo 4-0. Vic League Hockey Show Game of the Week, Melbourne 6 taking on Melbourne High School. 2-all draw. 2-all draw for us here at the Stats Centre. St Bede's 2, West Vic 0 to win. Vic League 3 finally, Bayside to win. To beat Latrobe Valley 3-0. Bayside hasn't won a game yet, so this will be interesting. GDW to lose to Croydon 3-4, and RMIT to beat Frankston 2-1. Okay, rightio. That's the results we're looking at. Thank you to everybody listening to this program. We'll be back next week. I will try and get some special guests in to talk about their clubs. If you're a president, look out. I'm coming for you. I'm Nick Hughes. We'll see you next week on the greatest hockey show in Victoria. It's the only show. It's your show. It's the Vic League Hockey Show. Bye for now.